Charlie from Daily Motor, and today we've got the sound system demo of the 2021 Buick Envision and 9-speaker Bose audio system. This is going to be an in-depth review. We're going to take a look at how the infotainment system works, take a look at audio adjustments, audio controls, inputs, speaker locations, Android Auto, and Apple CarPlay, then get out on the road and listen to these sample tracks while we're rolling, and I'll give you my thoughts at the end. Now, if you don't care about any of that stuff at the beginning, you just want to hear the tunes, click ahead in the video. We've got chapters to get you right to the music. And before we get started, let's hop out and take a quick look at the car. The Buick Envision, cousin to the Chevy Equinox. This thing looks really good. It drives fairly in the middle. So if you do want to see more on the car, check the links in the description. We've got a DM test drive and a real-world highway fuel economy test. This is the Essence trim right in the middle, and it's got the 2-liter turbo, all-wheel drive. So it's a very capable and approachable vehicle to many different buyers. Now, I always do this test with lossless, uncompressed WAV audio files on a USB stick plugged directly into the system, and high-quality binaural microphones in both of my ears, giving you the most realistic audio system demo on YouTube. We also do the test with the sound settings set to their factory defaults. So let's take a look at those now. Very nice, large, and well baked into the IP screen here. It looks really nice, kind of the way everything's laid out. The screen is a good resolution. GM always does a good job with making not necessarily the most flashy infotainment, but very functional infotainment. This one's got a little bit of a learning curve with its volume knob kind of tucked away on the side there and the home button. But let's go to sound right here. For sound settings, you have bass, mid-range, and treble adjustments, fader and balance, and then driver, normal, center point, and rear sound modes. Let's go through those now. Huge difference between normal and center point. Driver does sound a little bit more focused, so depending on the style of music, maybe talk radio or something, you might want to switch between those. Let's go through bass, mid-range, and treble. Look at how easy it is to make these adjustments and how quickly it responds. I like that. I do think it's a little strange that it makes 12 different levels of adjustment. You'd think 10 would be enough, but I do like being able to either tap or just slide. That all works really nicely. For audio controls in the Envision, you've got a volume knob that's tucked way up here. I don't particularly care for the location. You have to reach forward. If I'm 5'10", I'm sitting in my seat position like this, I reach forward, I cannot grab the volume knob, not even close. I do have to lean forward, I don't care for that. But you do have steering wheel adjustments over here on the right side. The other thing with this volume knob is it's not super convenient for the passenger to get to it either. At least in some cars where the drivers can't really quite get to the volume knob super easily, it's because it's in a good position for the passenger. That's not the case here in the Envision. For track selection, you can either use the touch screen. You might be able to scroll through this depending on where you're at. Let's see if we're on maps. No, that's more of like a weird adjustment scroller thing for using the infotainment. So there's actually no physical track selection. That's unfortunate. Fortunately, you do have them on the back side of the steering wheel on the left side. But again, if you were the passenger and driver wanted the nav, then you'd have to, I don't know, I guess either deal with it or click there and click to the next song. So not the end of the world, but physical selections are definitely good for those sort of things. Audio inputs. Here in the Envision, you have standard AM, FM, Sirius XM satellite radio, USB-A and USB-C data ports, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay support, wireless as well, Bluetooth of course, and that is it on top of some streaming services. You see you got Spotify built in, that's nice. There's some other apps like New York Times, Washington Post, Amazon Alexa. So what does that mean you're missing? Well, no 3.5mm auxiliary input jack, no disc player, but that's about it. So not really the end of the world here in 2021 to be missing those few inputs, and I do like seeing wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. Speaker locations. This is a 9-speaker system. Starting in the bottom left, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, that's going to shut off the car apparently. Let's turn that back on. 6, 7, and then 8, 9 on the D pillars back there. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto demonstrations. Let's start off with Android Auto because it's prompting us to launch that. You can see my phone is not plugged in, but any moment here it should give us a little green Android Auto icon. There we are, or I guess it's technically blue. Nice full screen display, good resolution. What's that refresh rate like? Decent refresh rate as well, good responsiveness. You see our Google Podcasts. There's our home screen. A little bit of delay there. I don't know if that's because it's wireless or what, but we got settings screen. And of course, your home screen. All right, let's switch over to Apple CarPlay. There we go. Again, a nice big full screen display for CarPlay. Looks good. You have your little app selector over here. Got your USB music, settings screen, this main home screen, and of course you can click that again for apps. All right, let's get out on the road and listen to these sample tracks while we're at 70 miles per hour. impressed by the system. I think it can handle these more complex songs better than I expected, but you also notice when you do start getting more complex music in here, especially music with vocals, which is more difficult for us to do because of copyrighted music, but there not being a subwoofer in the car makes it so the low door woofers kind of have to make up for everything below the mid frequencies, and once you start overloading those, you kind of have to give something up. So if you kind of turn the bass up, you lose out on more of those complex middle notes. So definitely pretty darn good for most average listening, radio listening, pop music, that sort of thing. But when I was listening to more complex metal and classical type music earlier on in the testing, it was like, yeah, okay, I see where the corners were cut. This next song, we'll leave the bass at halfway, start out normal settings, then we'll crank it all the way up. With the bass in this car. There's quite a lot of mirror shakeage. It's a lot of frontal bass, so you're not going to be shattering the neighbor's windows, but what you're hearing in the driver's seat is pretty good. The really deep low basses you're going to lose, and like I said, you also lose heavier bass when the door woofers have to be concentrating on other stuff. But music like this, where it's just trying to put out a low bass rumble sound, sounds pretty good. My thoughts on the 9-speaker Bose system here in the Buick Envision. This sound system overall would be getting a B. However, this drives me absolutely nuts. Look, we're driving along. I've been on the highway for over an hour now, and I wanted to sample some of my uncompressed, high-quality music on this USB drive because I like to test the system thoroughly with copyrighted music, all sorts of different songs that I'm familiar with before I do these videos. So I go to hit Browse, Feature Unavailable While Driving, use voice recognition instead, which is saying I can't access most of my songs that are on this drive. I mean, I've got gigabytes worth of music to test that I use in all the different cars with this drive, and I can't use them because I'm locked out of the system. So how do they think that's constructive? How do they think that's safe? That pretty much completely renders my drive useless, and it's so frustrating when manufacturers think they got to babysit. And you can tell I'm a little bit worked up about it right now. I mean, obviously, you can use Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. There's many different ways of streaming your music, but to have a functionality just be canceled out right there because, it's going to be unsafe while you're driving. Yeah, you can eat food and do your makeup and shave your face all while you're driving. Nothing's going to stop you from doing that, but you can't click through a few folders on your USB drive? Come on, Buick. Come on, GM. Other than that, the system sounds pretty darn good. I'm honestly fairly impressed. Wasn't expecting it. So B for sound quality, but C because of that stupid usability. So thank you all so much for watching. If you want to see more on the Buick, check the links in the description. And we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.